The wind carried whispers of Eldergrove. It was a place of deep magic. Ancient trees clawed at the sky, their branches gnarled and twisted. Shadows danced beneath the canopy. Locals spoke of the forest in hushed tones, telling tales of wonder and dread. Children were warned to keep their distance. Eldergrove was a place of enchantment and danger. One name was spoken with reverence and fear: the Feyweaver, a powerful sorceress who ruled the heart of the forest. Her power resonated in every leaf and stone. The fate of Eldergrove and the world beyond hung in the balance. Elara had always felt the pull of Eldergrove. It was a deep yearning in her soul. She grew up on the edge of the forest, its presence a constant in her life. Her grandmother had filled her childhood with stories of the forest's magic and mystery. Elara was different. She could feel the forest calling to her, whispering her name on the wind, beckoning her into its depths. Her grandmother recognized the signs. Elara was a descendant of the Guardians of Eldergrove, an ancient lineage, long thought lost. The Guardians were tasked with protecting the forest, safeguarding its magic and its secrets. Elara was the last of her line, the last hope for Eldergrove. Her destiny awaited her beyond the familiar paths. She was ready to embrace her legacy. Her grandmother gave her a gift, a simple amulet, a teardrop of amber. It pulsed with a warm light. It was a beacon, a key, the legacy of her ancestors. It would guide her. It would protect her. The time had come for Elara to face her destiny. Elara stepped into Eldergrove. The air grew heavy with magic. Sunbeams slanted through the dense canopy. Strange flowers bloomed in the undergrowth. Their petals shimmered with an otherworldly light. The forest welcomed her. She could feel its ancient heart beating. The trees whispered secrets to her. The wind carried the scent of wild magic. She saw things unseen by ordinary eyes. Glowing mushrooms illuminated hidden pathways. Strange creatures peeked from behind ancient trees. They were the guardians of the forest, the keepers of its secrets. She stumbled upon a hidden glade. A ring of standing stones stood tall in the center, pulsing with an ethereal energy. They were a gateway, a portal to other realms. This was a place of power. Elara could feel it deep within her bones. She touched one of the stones. A jolt of energy surged through her. Visions flooded her mind, glimpses of other worlds, other times. This was the true magic of Eldergrove. It was a crossroads of existence. She was both terrified and exhilarated. Her heart pounded with the thrill of discovery. Elara journeyed deeper into the forest. The path was fraught with wonder and danger. She encountered strange and wonderful creatures. Pixies with gossamer wings flitted through the trees. A wise old ent, its bark covered in moss, shared its ancient wisdom. It spoke of the balance of nature, warning her of the darkness that threatened the forest. She found ancient artifacts hidden in the ruins of a forgotten temple. A silver circlet engraved with runes, a crystal dagger that pulsed with moonlight. These were not mere trinkets. They were powerful objects, remnants of a forgotten age. They were tools of the Guardians. Elara felt their magic thrumming in her veins. The forest tested her, challenged her courage and her resolve. She faced each obstacle with a growing sense of purpose. She was not just exploring Eldergrove, she was becoming a part of it. The amulet her grandmother had given her glowed warmly. It guided her through the tangled paths, leading her towards her destiny. She was walking the path of her ancestors. She was answering the Guardian's call. The forest grew darker as Elara ventured further. The air was thick with a cloying mist. The trees loomed over the path, their branches twisted into menacing shapes. She could feel eyes watching her from the shadows. Whispers followed her, sibilant and cold. The presence of the Feyweaver was growing stronger. The creatures she encountered became more intimidating. A pack of barguests, spectral hounds with glowing red eyes, stalked her through the undergrowth. Their howls sent shivers down her spine. She used her wits and her newfound magic to evade them. She discovered a hidden grove where the trees wept a strange, viscous sap. It shimmered with a sickly green light. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay. This was a place of corruption. The Feyweaver's magic had poisoned the land. Elara pressed on, her resolve unwavering. She knew that the fate of Eldergrove rested on her shoulders. She would not be deterred. She would confront the darkness that threatened to consume the forest. Elara discovered that magic was more than just spells and incantations. It was a language, a way of communicating with the very essence of the forest. She learned to listen to the whispers of the wind, the rustling leaves, the murmuring streams. They spoke to her in a tongue she instinctively understood. She learned to harness the power within her, to channel the energy of the forest. Her touch could coax life back into withered plants. Her voice could calm the fiercest storm. The amber amulet pulsed with a warm light, amplifying her powers. The forest revealed its secrets to her. She discovered hidden pathways and ancient groves. She learned the lore of the creatures that dwelled within its depths. She earned their respect, their trust. She was no longer just a visitor in Eldergrove. She was becoming a part of its fabric. Her destiny was interwoven with the fate of the forest, and she was ready to face whatever awaited her. Deep within the heart of the forest, Elara discovered the ruins of an ancient city. Vines and creepers crawled over crumbling walls. It was a place of forgotten grandeur. She explored the ruins, drawn by an unseen force. In the center, she found a hidden chamber. Resting on a pedestal was a magnificent sword. Its blade shimmered with an otherworldly glow. Elara reached for the sword. As her fingers brushed the hilt, a jolt of energy surged through her. Guided by the sword and the amulet, Elara finally reached the heart of Eldergrove. It was a place of breathtaking beauty and raw power. A waterfall cascaded down a cliff face, its waters shimmering with an iridescent glow. The air hummed with an almost tangible energy. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree. Its branches reached towards the heavens, its roots burrowed deep into the earth. This was the mother tree, the source of Eldergrove's magic, and it was dying. The Feyweaver's dark magic had infected the mother tree. Its bark was blackened and withered. Its leaves were dry and brittle. The once vibrant energy of the forest was fading. Elara could feel the pain of the ancient tree. It resonated within her own soul. She knew that she had to act quickly. The fate of Eldergrove and the world beyond depended on her. She raised the sword of Ascalon. Its blade hummed with power. She would confront the Feyweaver. She would break the curse. She would save the forest. The Feyweaver emerged from the shadows. She was a creature of ethereal beauty and terrifying power. Her eyes glowed with an unnatural light. Her fingers were tipped with claws like shards of obsidian. She was cloaked in shadows and moonlight. A crown of twisted thorns adorned her head. "You dare trespass in my domain, mortal!" she hissed, her voice like the whisper of the wind through dead leaves. Elara stood her ground. She met the Feyweaver's gaze with unwavering determination. "You have poisoned this forest," she said, her voice ringing with the power of her ancestors. "You have corrupted its magic. I am here to stop you." The Feyweaver laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the clearing. "You are but a child," she sneered. "You are no match for my power." She raised her hand, and tendrils of dark energy snaked towards Elara. Elara raised the sword of Ascalon. The blade blazed with a blinding light, banishing the shadows. The battle for Eldergrove had begun. The clearing crackled with energy as Elara and the Feyweaver clashed. The sword of Ascalon met the Feyweaver's dark magic in a blinding display of light and shadow. Trees swayed violently, their roots ripped from the earth. The air crackled with raw power. Elara fought with the fury of a cornered animal, her every strike fueled by her love for Eldergrove. The Feyweaver, her beauty a mask for her cruelty, fought with cold, calculated malice. She commanded the very shadows themselves, twisting them into monstrous shapes to attack Elara. The battle raged, a whirlwind of flashing steel, blinding light, and guttural roars. The fate of the forest hung in the balance. Elara knew that she couldn't defeat the Feyweaver through brute force alone. She had to outsmart her. She had to use the Feyweaver's power against her. With a surge of desperation, Elara plunged the sword of Ascalon into the ground. A shockwave of energy rippled outward, shattering the Feyweaver's connection to the mother tree. The Feyweaver screamed, her form flickering as her power waned. The Feyweaver, weakened and vulnerable, collapsed to the ground. Her beauty faded, revealing the withered crone beneath. Elara stood over her, the sword of Ascalon poised to deliver the final blow, but she hesitated. Ending her life would not heal the wounds she had inflicted upon Eldergrove. Elara lowered the sword. "You are banished from this forest," she declared. The Feyweaver, her power broken, fled into the shadows. The forest sighed in relief. Elara stood at the heart of Eldergrove and made a solemn vow. She became the protector of Eldergrove, the shield against the darkness.